In this video, we will be discussing increment. Increment is the amount or degree by which something changes. In symbol, we will be using the uppercase Greek letter delta. Okay, so let's apply this increment to the given function. On your screen, you have a function, illustrated function, which is y equal to f of x. There is an original point p sub 1 and changes its position to p sub 2, which is x sub 2 and y sub 2. Now we will be taking the change of x. Since the point moved from point 1 to point 2, now in order to get the increment of these points, we have to subtract the abscissa of these points, meaning we have x sub 2 minus x sub 1, which is going to be equal to the change of x or delta x. Now, what is the meaning of this x sub 2 minus x sub 1? X sub 2 minus x sub 1 is just the distance of the second point minus the distance of the first point, meaning this violet bracket is our change of x. Now, as we changes our x, we also expect that y is changing, meaning we can also get the increment of y or change of y. That is by taking the difference of y sub 2 minus y sub 1, which is going to be equal to change of y. And change of y is the distance from point 1 to point 2. For example, that we are in point 1 and we want to arrive at point 2, we can conclude by its definition that in order to come up with this point 2, we just have to add a certain amount of change of x to our x sub 1. Meaning, in order to come up with this point 2, we have to add a certain amount of change of x to our x. Next, for y, in order to come up with that y of point 2, we just have to add a certain amount of increment of y to our y sub 1. Meaning, in order to be here from point 1, you just have to add a certain amount of change of y to y. Now let's have our further conclusion. Number 1, that change of x is just the difference of the second point and the first point, while change of y is just the difference of the first ordinate, the second ordinate minus the first ordinate. And then, by definition, in your previous mathematics, you have discussed that y is always equal to f of x by function notation. Meaning, as we change y, we are also changing the function, which is number 3. Change of y or delta y, given that y is equal to f of x, we have to determine the change of y as x changes. So in order to do this, we expect that x is going to be changed by adding a certain amount of increment. Thus, we can say that f of x is changing from x plus change of x because we are adding a certain amount of increment of x. Now, as we changes x from first point to second point, we also expect that y is changing by adding a certain amount of change of y. Now, as we simplify this and take the value of change of y, we can use commutative property of equality and add negative y both sides of the equation. So we have y minus y is just change of y. Now on the other side of the equation, we have f of x plus change of x minus y. And the value of y is f of x. So we can change that y into f of x. So our next equation will be change of y equal to f of x plus change of x minus f of x. This is now the formula for the change of y. An example, we have to determine the change of y equal to 2x cubed minus 1 as x changes from 2 to 2.7. So what we have to do now is to add a certain amount of change to our y, and with x also, x plus change of x, but it's in cube minus 1. And then we have to isolate change of x here. We have to isolate the change of x. But first, I want to simplify first the right sides of the equation. So it will become 2 times the cube of x plus change of x will be, so let's solve this here on the side, plus change of x. So that's 3 times of x plus change of x. So you have to multiply x plus change of x 3 times to itself. So this is going to be x cubed plus x change of x. And then we have x plus x change of x. And then we have plus change of x square. So let's further simplify this. Further simplifying this is square. We have to add x square plus 2x change of x plus change of x square. Now we still have to multiply this for another x plus change of x. So we have x cubed and then followed by 2x squared change of x, and then followed by plus x change of x square. Then we are now on the second multiplier, change of x. So we have x squared change of x, and then we have this as plus 2x change of x squared, and then this one is plus change of x cubed, meaning if you are going to add this, it will become x cubed plus 3 plus 3 x squared change of x plus 3x change of x squared plus change of x cubed. So that's it. Close bracket. Okay. Let me just erase this. Okay. So we still have minus 1. This minus 1 here. So minus 1. Now, we still have to simplify the right side of the equation by distributing 2 inside. It will become 2x cubed plus 6x squared change of x plus 6x change of x squared plus 2 change of x cubed minus 1. Now we cannot combine any terms here. So what we have to do now is to move our y, or use commutative property in order to move y on the other side of the equation. It will become minus y. So this is just change of y. So minus y, this is just change of y. Now we know that y is equal to 2x cubed minus 1. So we have to change that into 2x cubed minus 1. So rewriting it, it will become 2 cubed plus 6x squared change of x plus 6x change of x squared plus 2 change of x cubed. I am just writing it. Minus 1 minus 2x cubed minus 1. Now, since this is subtraction, I have to distribute this negative negative sign to each term of our binomial, meaning it will become minus 2x cubed. This will become minus 2x cubed plus 1. And then you're writing this whole term again. So let me just copy it. Copy and paste it here. Paste. There you go. So it will look like that. Okay. Now we can see from this last line of solution that we can eliminate some terms. So we will be eliminating 2x cubed minus 2x cubed and then 1 minus 1. So what we have now, or change of y, is equal to 6x squared change of x plus 6x change of x squared plus 2 change of x cube. Rather, this is cube outside. Cube outside. Minus 1. Oh no, there's no minus 1 anymore. So we only have 3 terms here. Now, in order to get the change of y, as we change from 2 to 2.7, we have to check first the values of x. So this is our x, this is our x, our first point, which is 2. And our change of x is going to be equal to x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And our x sub 2 is 2.7 minus x sub 1 is 2, meaning we have 0.7 as the change of x. Now, let's just substitute these values, 2 and 2.7, to our final equation. So the change of y is 6 times 2 squared. Our x is 2. And our change of x is 0.7. So this is 0.7 plus 6 times 2 times 0.7 squared plus 2 times 0.7 cube. Now let's solve this, evaluate this number. So change of y will become equal to 23.366. So the change of y as x changes from 2 to 2.7 is 23.366. Now let's talk about the average rate of change. If change of y is to be divided by change of x, then we will have an average rate of change, meaning average rate of change is expressed as change of y over change of x is equal to f of x plus change of x minus f of x over change of x. This is now the expression or equation of average rate of change. Now, if we will be taking the limit of this average rate of change, we will be having the so-called derivative. Thus, if we take the limit of change of y over change of x as change of x approaches 0, then we will have the so-called derivative. Derivative is denoted in different ways. Number 1, dy over dx, y prime, f prime of x, d over dx of f of x, d sub x y, d sub x of f of x. For example, determine the derivative of y equal to 3 plus 4x minus 2x squared using the limit of change of y over change of x as change of x approaches 0. Now, the first thing to do is to change y to y plus change of y and x to x plus change of x. So changing these variables in our original function, it will become y plus change of y equal to 3 plus 4 x plus change of x minus 2 and times x plus change of x square. Then we simplify the right side of the equation. It will become, so we have to simplify this side, simplify. It will become 3 plus, we have to distribute this factor outside. It will become 4x plus 4 change of x. And then we have to expand this binomial into square. And the product is x squared plus 2x change of x plus change of x square. Further simplifying this side of the equation, it will become 3 plus 4x plus 4 change of x minus, so we have to distribute this negative 2 inside the terms of this perfect square trinomial. It will become negative 2 x squared minus 4x change of x minus 2 change of x squared. These two lines of solution are both equal to y plus change of y and y plus change of y. Next, step number 2, subtract f of x to f of x plus change of x. And we know that our f of x from previous mathematics subjects is equal to y, or in other words, this subtraction of f of x to f of x plus change of x is just by using commutative property in order to move it to the right side of the equation. I mean our y variable. So when we subtract both sides of this equation to y will be out here and there will be a minus y in this side of the equation. So it's just the same as change of y equal to 3 plus 4x plus 4 change of x minus 2 x squared minus 4x change of x minus 2 and square of change of x minus y. We know that our y is equal to this function. So I can change this y to 3 plus 4x minus 2x squared. So let's rewrite it. It will become change of y equal to 3 plus 4x plus 4 change of x minus 2x squared minus 4x change of x minus 2 change of x squared minus the value of y is 3 plus 4x minus 2x squared. 3 plus 4x minus 2x squared. And then we simplify the right side of the equation, so we have to simplify this. Simplifying this will lead us to distribute this negative sign outside this bracket. So rewriting the other terms and distributing that negative inside that trinomial will give us change of y equal to 3 plus 4x plus 4 change of x minus 2x squared minus 4x change of x minus 2 change of x squared minus 3 minus 4x plus 2x squared. Then we further simplify. I think we can cancel out 3 minus 3, 4x minus 4x, and 2x squared minus 2x squared. So the remaining terms on the right side of the equation will be 4 change of x minus 4x change of x minus 2 change of x square. So let's have step number 3. Divide change of x to both sides of the equation. So dividing this solution into this last line of solution to change of x will give us change of y over change of x is equal to 4 change of x minus 4x change of x minus 2 change of x square over change of x. Then we simplify the right side again. So simplifying the right side, as we observe in our numerator, there are common factors. There is a common factor to each of the terms in the numerator of the right side, and that is change of x. So factoring out change of x will give us another factor, which is 4 minus 4x minus 2 change of x over change of x. Now, why do we have to factor out that common factor change of x in the numerator? The purpose is to eliminate this denominator. Why? Because later, if we take the limit of this change of y over change of x as change of x approaches 0, then change of x will become 0, and in the denominator and the numerator, the change of x in the numerator will become 0, then the function will become indeterminate. So we have to cancel that out. Therefore, the average rate of change that we have is change of y over change of x is equal to 4 minus 4x minus 2 change of x. Now, think we cannot do anything about this, so let's start with fourth step. We have to take the limit of change of y over change of x as change of x approaches 0. So we have now the change of y over change of x, which is equal to 4 minus 4x minus 2 change of x. Taking the limit of this both sides of the equation as change of x approaches 0 will give us 4 minus 4x minus 2 times 0, and that it is equal to 4 minus 4x. Meaning, the derivative of the given function y equal to 3 plus 4x minus 2x squared is equal to 4 minus 4x, or we can express it to y prime. Let's have the second example. So we have to derive y is equal to 1 plus x cubed. So we have to change y into y plus change of y equal to 1 plus x will become x plus change of x cubed. Then we simplify the right side. Simplifying the right side is 1 plus this cube of a binomial using Pascal's triangle or special product. We can have the expanded form as x cubed plus 3x change of x plus x cubed plus 3x square change of x plus 3x change of x square plus change of x cube. And this right side of the equation is still equal to y plus change of y. And this is step number 1. So for number 2, we have to subtract both sides of the equation by the original function. So meaning, it will give us change of y is equal to 1 plus x cubed plus 3x squared change of x plus 3x change of x squared plus change of x cubed minus y, our original function. And we know that this y is equal to 1 plus x cubed. So we can change this y into 1 plus x cubed. So it must be like this, minus 1 plus x cubed. And then we simplify the right side of the equation by distributing this negative sign inside this binomial. So it will become change of y is equal to 1 plus x cubed plus 3x squared change of x plus 3x change of x squared plus change of x cubed minus 1 minus x cubed. And we can still simplify this by subtracting adding 1 and negative 1 and x cubed and negative x cubed. So the right side of the equation will have these three terms: 3x squared change of x plus 3x change of x squared plus change of x cubed. Step number 3 is to divide both sides of the equation by change of x. So we have to divide this both side by change of x. Therefore, change of y over change of x is equal to 3x squared change of x plus 3x change of x squared plus change of x cubed over change of x. And we have to simplify this right side again. It will become change of y over change of x. We observe that the numerator has a common factor, and that is change of x. As we move out or factor out this change of x, the remaining factor will be 3x squared plus 3x change of x plus change of x squared over change of x. We can cancel now change of x, and the remaining average rate of change is change of y over change of x is equal to 3x squared plus 3x change of x plus change of x squared. That's step number 3. For step number 4, we have to take the limit of the average rate of change in order to get the derivative. So step number 4 is to get the limit of change of y over change of x as change of x approaches 0. So we have 3x squared plus 3x change of x plus change of x squared. Now since change of x is approaching 0, we have to substitute 0 in all change of x of the right side of the equation. So it will become 3x squared plus 3x times 0 plus 0 squared. And it will become 3x squared. So 3x squared will be our y prime, or the derivative of y equal to 1 plus x cubed. Next example is y equal to square root of x plus 1. So same process. For step number 1, we have to change y into y plus change of y, and x will be changed as x plus change of x, and then we have another plus 1. So we cannot simplify the right side anymore. So let's have step number 2. Step number 2 is to subtract the original function to the change of y and the change of f of x. It will become change of y equal to square root of x plus change of x plus 1 minus y. And I know that the value of my y is this radical square root of x plus 1. So I can change this y into let me just rewrite it. X plus change of x plus 1 minus square root of x plus 1. We cannot simplify the right side anymore. Okay, so let's move on to the third step. The third step is to divide the change of y into change of x. So we have change of y over change of x is equal to x plus change of x plus 1 minus square root of x plus 1 over change of x. From our previous example, we simplify equations with radicals by taking the conjugate of this radical form. So in this case, we have to use the conjugate of the numerator in order to further simplify this, because the right side is, the right side can be simplified. So let's take the conjugate. The conjugate is square root of x plus change of x plus 1 plus square root of x plus 1. So we have to multiply this conjugate to both numerator and denominator of the right side of the equation. It will become change of y over change of x is equal to, so we just have to rewrite it, over change of x times the conjugate. So the conjugate is x plus change of x plus 1 plus square root of x plus 1 as well as the denominator. Now as we simplify this right side, we can observe that this first numerator has an opposite operation in our second numerator. So this is just the sum and difference of two terms. So we can apply the product as the difference of two squares. So difference of two squares will give us x plus change of x plus 1 minus x plus 1 over the factored form in our denominator. So that is change of x times square root of x plus change of x plus 1 plus square root of x plus 1. That is equal to the change of y over change of x, or also known as the average rate of change. Then we simplify the numerator because the numerator is possible to be simplified. So it will give us x plus change of x plus 1 minus x minus 1, because we have distributed the negative side, the negative sign outside the binomial, over change of x, and then we have times x squared of x plus change of x plus 1 plus square root of x plus 1 in our denominator. So we can see that our numerator can be simplified by x minus x and 1 minus 1. So the only term that is being left in the numerator is change of x. So rewriting it, it will become change of x over the denominator of change of x times square root of x plus change of x plus 1 plus square root of x plus 1. And then we can see that we can divide change of x in the numerator to the change of x in the denominator. So we can cancel that out, and the average rate of change is going to be equal to 1 over square root of x plus change of x plus 1 plus square root of x plus 1. So we cannot do anything in the right side of the equation. We can now move on to the fourth step. We have to take the limit of change of y over change of x as change of x approaches 0. So that is equal to 1 over square root of x plus 0 plus 1 plus square root of x plus 1. Then we simplify the denominator. 1 over, that is x squared of x plus 0 plus 1 is x plus 1 plus another square root of x plus 1. So adding the terms in our denominator will give us 1 over 2 square root of x plus 1. Meaning, and this is equal to y prime. Meaning, the derivative of y equal to square root of x plus 1 is equal to 1 over 2 square root of x plus 1.